Welcome to Bahati, talking about real issues that are affecting you as an individual. Insights about financial and personal growth, plus better relationships. And now, Bahati.
Welcome to this beautiful space of Hold My Hand, ladies and gentlemen. We are opening it up to both men and women because we know that both men and women are in pursuit of success, are in pursuit of significance. And don't leave your questions behind, because I love when we handle the questions, because then we are going directly to where you are, what you want us to handle, and what you want to go back and activate or be able to act on. So write those questions for those of you that don't feel like asking boldly, and those that feel like asking boldly, a microphone is going to go around and we are going to be able to answer these questions. So let's give a round of applause to our online audience right about now. Let's welcome our TV audience as well as they are joining us. So that means we are global right now and eyes are here. That means we are not just holding hands in Uganda, but we are holding hands in the whole world. Okay? So if you ask a question, you're asking a question for millions of people. And I've had people comment from Ghana, I've had people comment from, from so many West African countries, South Africa, even Kenya, Burundi, and most of them have been saying, you know what, you guys, whenever I hear those questions, it's like you are in my home, you know what I am going through, and you are breaking it down, and the following day, and someone told me, I didn't know I could have a mentor that I don't even plan to meet my whole life, because I'm in Jamaica and she's in Uganda, and the questions that she's answering are questions that are things that I am going through. So we are healing together and we are growing together, and we are not about to stop. All right? Okay, so just like I said, we are talking about commitment today. Commitment. We talked about consistency last time. The frequency at which, because sometimes we do things today and tomorrow we just don't feel like doing anything. And then we do it this week. You even feel like, you know what, let me put on my makeup, let me look good, and then you do it for 2 days. And the other day you wake up like a bus just landed on you. to whoever it may concern. Okay? You even put sandals. Have you ever woken up and you just don't feel like putting on to even go to work? And you're just pulling anything that, you know, that just falls off your body, and then weird shoes, and then you're just moving. And then a week comes and you feel like, you know what, I should put myself together. So in season and out of season, we say that consistency demands that you repeatedly do that thing until it becomes a habit, it becomes a pattern, and it becomes a part of you. That, by the way, even when the situation is so bad, no one can ever read it from your face, because you woke up, you showed up, and you still did the things that you have been doing. And Coach Janet was here. She told us how she appeared for a coaching call, and she was sick. And so at some point I thought, okay, these are the things that I've been mentioning in the mentorship classes. And I think these guys were like, but you're a workaholic. You're admitted in the hospital, and some of you on Zoom, you know, mentoring. And I'm like, you know what? If it's a calling, I will do it. I will be consistent. I will do it even when I don't feel like doing it. And before you know it, it becomes a second part of you, a second nature to you. Okay? So commitment, on the other hand, is when we choose to give it our whole and to make sure that we stay the course. Just like Coach Henry has said, we stay the course. It is a choice that you make, and it's very intentional. It is not in your subconscious mind. No, you have to practice commitment until it becomes a subconscious act, that you are committed. Okay? Have you ever been so committed to your job that even when someone says that, you know what, we have a party tomorrow, you clearly say, you know what, if it falls within the weekdays, count me out. Because this is now my new me. I have a job. If you're a minister in church, you're like, you know what, if it falls on Sunday, count me out. I mean, I wish you well. I'm praying for you that everything will go well, but on a Sunday, it just can't happen. If it's my family day, it's my family day. I think I've said it so many times. I am not going to do anything. Even if you call me to give me how much money, I will turn you down and say, you know what, this is my time and this is my family time. Now, the commitment, and commitment comes more vividly when you talk about relationships, right? That you commit. That it doesn't matter. Even when things get hard, you decide to stick in there. Because you do not just commit when things are good and then fall out when things are bad. You do not just commit to a business when things are flourishing and it's your, for example, the wedding planning seasons. My friend, they are booming seasons, and oh, you're all over social media, you're posting, you know, this is where I was, my team was here, this is the wedding we planned, the pictures. And then when the low season comes, then you're like, you know what, let me just go and look for another side hustle while the season picks up, and then when it picks up, I will come back in. We will have forgotten you. Human nature, we will have forgotten about you. Even in the low season, post the previous weddings when people are marching, when people are merrymaking, and then I'm like, this is the woman I want to work on my wedding. And because we speak in future tenses, we're like, when my wedding comes, how many of you, ladies, I want you to be very honest, you have screenshots of makeup artists and the makeup they did for a certain bride, and you want them to make that makeup for you? Hands up. Ladies, do not lie to me. And you even have a gown that you will buy. You even know how the venue should look like. These days everything is white. You want that white venue. Okay? I know that we have these things. But that means in season and out of season, you stay committed. Okay? Now, commitment does not mean that, okay, if you find that this thing is not going to work for me, then please stick in there. No. When we talk about agreements and contracts, you know that that is one way of committing, that I am committing to this job, I am committing to deliver this service until this amount of time, maybe 5 years or 3 years or 2 years. But there is a clause in there that even when it comes to a time where you need to be able to step out or terminate this contract, please give us notice, maybe of 2 weeks or 3 months. Maybe if we are terminating your service, we will give you notice so that you know that we are terminating your services. That means for everything in this world that has an entry point has an exit point. For everything that has a beginning has an end. But let it be an end, now for us when we talk about success and significance, let it be an end of an era and a beginning of another era. And that should be from glory to glory. And sometimes from glory to glory will never look like from glory to an elevated glory. Sometimes our glory is from glory to glory before it goes back to glory. And we have to be able to accept that. And that is where your commitments comes in and you're like, you know what? I am committed to living a good life. I am committed to living a healthy life. I am committed. Do you see that you commit to your goals? And the reason some of us commitment is so hard is we commit in times of happiness and enthusiasm and excitement, okay? The journey has a lot of unpredictable and uncertainties that actually happen before you reach the end. So this is what when I was thinking about this, that scripture that says that the plans that God has for us are to give us an expected end. Now, unexpected end, who expects this end? Me. Who expects that end? You. That means if you do not have an expected end, how will you know if you reach your expected end? Are we together? So that means whether it's a vision board, whether it's a goal list that you have, that means you create an end. If I told you right now to run into your fantasy world and just dream, into your dreamland, and just dream, how would you want your life to look like 10 years from now? I want, just go. I've given you permission. Go, run. Go to your dreamland. How will your life look like? Dreams are free, guys. Dreams are? No one limits, no one is telling you, dream only like a dream that can cost 1 million. No. But that dream is possible. And watch her. Watch her. 10 years from now, she will manifest something, or she will have manifested something that is bigger than what she has ever imagined. You know, sometimes when we say some of these things, it feels like we are wasting time. I will tell you, when I was committing to the journey of growth, I had dreams. As a young girl, I had dreams. And I think I've shared so many of my dreams with you. And some of those dreams were far-fetched, because the first time to see anything to do with coaching, I think it must have been in the year either 2000 or 1999, something. Now, I saw it on a cover. It was a book cover. My friend in class had a cover on their book. And so I saw someone had written an article. And this article was about helping people like to live a good life. And I think it was about Kenneth Copeland. It was Kenneth Copeland, for those of you that have seen Kenneth Copeland. She has been in this industry for so long. And so something overtook my mind, and I used to see myself speaking at big stages. I am in a home where I put on sandals to go to church. The newest, whoever has the newest sandals, those are the ones I'm going to grab. And I don't know whether you saw sandals that had things inside of them. What are they called? They were not like flat, smooth sandals. There's those sandals that used to come from China. I think they had those things. And so they were colored, multicolored. And I remember one time I had washed clothes for the whole day because I'm the firstborn at home. And even when at some point my mother got a maid, I used to be more like the maid. I think she wanted more of a good life for me, and so she determined that I learn everything and I do everything in the home. So even when the food, we burnt the food, or the maid burnt the food, I was the one beaten. So next time the food would not burn. Washing clothes, I would wash clothes like the whole house. I have 5 siblings, and then, you know, I have my parents and all, so I would wash clothes for everyone on Saturday. So that particular, used to do it every Saturday. So that particular Saturday, I was washing clothes, you know, in the grass called Jija. You know, it's not paspalam, but, you know, there's that small grass that grows around. So I was washing clothes, and I remember I didn't even have enough soap, but I was just struggling to make sure that the clothes, you know, are up there. And I would start in the morning and even stop at 4 because like it was too much. And I was young. At that time, I remember I should have been in maybe P7 somewhere. And life was really rough, really, really, really rough. I don't fear to talk about these things because it's part of what I went through. To the extent that the house where we were staying was not even a house, it was like a store. And on the bed that we had a double-decker with my 5 siblings, a double-decker, and we used to have hens sleeping in the same house. Now, I want to paint a picture that you do not have to come from somewhere to somewhere. You can come from nothing and become someone. And become someone that is transformational and life-impacting and life-changing. But that life had to be, I had to dream in the place where I had no business dreaming. That in that place where I was cleaning my sandals to go to church, while I knew that I was going to put on clothes that were given as, you know, as gifts at church. You know how the pastor knows that, you know, these families that are really struggling, and then when they send certain things and they know they have a certain lady that prays at that church and she has teenage daughters, and so they were like, you know what, you tell her to come and pick some clothes. So I picked some book clothes. Oh my God, I was in heaven. I was in heaven. So I'm cleaning my shoes, and in that moment, it was more like a vision, but I saw myself speaking at a podium that was so big with so many people, and like I didn't have any business dreaming in that place because I was going to foot to church. The church that was very far away. No one would even dream of their child footing there. But I was so committed even in that moment. So I dream about these things, and I go on in my leisure time. I even compose some songs. Do you know I have more than 50 songs composed? I have an album recorded. I am an artist. Oh! And a hidden artist. Because I discovered now, yes, I have that bit of calling, but I don't think it's my core calling. But like for me, it has been unveiling a layer after a layer, and committing myself not to lose the process. And so I dreamt when I had no business to dream. In that house that I'm talking about, A time came, it even fell. I think I told you about that story. It fell. My mother said, we are tired of this small house. And the next day wind came. It threw it down. And so we are at church, praising and worshiping, and my brother shows up at the gate, and she's like a builder. You know those builders that are full of sand? And so we are like, Alphonse, what's wrong? The house has fallen. And where are your brothers and sisters? They are fine. And we go back home. And we had to be housed by a witch doctor on the village because we had nowhere to go. But the thing is, even in the lowest of the moments, I keep asking myself right now, what kept me going? What kept me committing to something that I did not have the funds, I did not have the sponsorship, I don't have the privilege, that even when I got to secondary, things got worse. When I got to crossing from secondary to campus, I even didn't have tuition. I had to give up and, go into business. But even when I went, let me tell you, everything that I have chosen to do with my life, I have done it with all my heart. Everything I have chosen to do, even in the worst of places, I have done it with all my hand. And sometimes my mother tells me that, you know what, you have a very strong head. Even my husband tells me that if Hilda puts her mind to something, changing her, you bring a grader, you will never change her mind. Because she knows me. When I say, this is what I want, she will tell me now, do we have the resources for that? I'm like, we will get the resources. Like, I have lived a life of faith, okay? Because commitment cannot happen without faith. If you want to commit because of what you presently see, then you are going to give up. Because you're going to be in bad places. And so those bad places are going to determine you're giving up. So faith demands that, you know what, you dream bigger. So I've asked myself and I'm saying, okay, faith got me there. Faith has kept me on this commitment journey because I know, and my belief and my relationship with God has been a turnaround for so many things. A turnaround for so many things. My personal relationship with God, that's another thing. Because when God gives you a vision and you get to know that vision, you get to know your expected end, staying the course becomes, you betray yourself if you don't stay the course. So you're like, I am running to the finishing line and I cannot give up unless I get to the finishing line. And I have purpose to learn from every source, because commitment determines that you have ongoing motivation. Okay? The ongoing motivation. That if I can learn from Lavender, if I can learn from Henry, if I can learn from Brenda, if I can learn from Christian, as in whoever is in my life is there as a pillar. I am not isolated and alone I cannot grow. I cannot even reach where I want to go. So when I learned that relationships are very important in my commitment journey to where I am going. That if I walk alone, I can go at a very terrific speed. But if I go with people, I can go further than I ever thought I would go. Do you get the difference? If I walk alone, I can run. Because then I don't mind. I'm alone. If I walk with people, chances are they might drag me down. They might slow me down. But again, I can go far. Because I have people that are going to hold my hand, that even when I'm about to give up, just imagine right now, if I ever start to give up, Coach Henry is the one who will tell me that, you know what? No, ma'am, no, not right now, not on my watch. You held my hand, I am holding your hand right now. We need people in our lives. On the other hand, you should be able to choose those people. Because not everyone is going to be that person. Because others are there to sing for you. Do you remember, I don't have that story properly, but when they were building the walls of Jerusalem, and they were holding, a sword in one hand, and they were building with one hand, and some of the people were telling them, your city lies in ruins. There is nothing you're going to accomplish. There are people who are going to be there to tell you that. To even tell you, the people that went ahead of you, where are they? To remind you of all the stories that have failed. Because for everything that you're going to do and succeed, someone has failed at it. But again, for those that have failed, those are the lessons that we should pick. What exactly went wrong? If you're a coach, you should be able to ask, what happened to the coaches that came first in those generations? What happened? When things did not work out, they gave up. So right now, you say, you know what, how do I stay the course? So commitment is huge, but commitment takes you further. Commitment to your job. I'm an employer. But if I get someone who is committed to my vision, I hold to that person. I don't want to let them go. They could even have 100 and 1,000 mistakes that they make as a person. But for as long as they are committed to my vision and they are loyal to my vision, I hold them so tight, and those are people you will see promoted without them doing anything significant. But they are very committed and they are very loyal. Because everything is a brand right now, even companies are brands. If someone is committed and loyal to your brand, you need that person. It doesn't mean that you're going to have them forever, but for the time that they are in your life, they're going to speak good about you. They're going to sell your brand. They are going to speak on the mountaintop. They're going to own it up. They're not going to sell like they're selling a company or they're selling a radio station or a TV station, but it's going to be theirs. They're going to feel pain when a client walks away without paying. They're going to feel pain if money is not coming in. But again, if I have you and all you're thinking is give me, but there's no loyalty and commitment, I will give you for as long as I can give you, and when I run dry, I will let you go. I will let you go, not even to run dry, but to make place and space for people who are committed and loyal. And that is where, as an employer, you can be hated. I am taking care of myself as a company. Who is taking care of you? So that means your value should be able to rise so that I know that I need you to stay with me in this battle, so that I know that whatever conquest that we make, we can be able to divide. But again, if you're the one on my back digging, then I am better off kicking you away. I can only grow with people that want to grow with me. Okay? So I want you to look, whether it's a career that you are doing, whether it's whatever it is that, whether you're setting up a business, you ought to commit to that business. It will never give you milk. A cow can never give you milk if you're not committed to feeding it. Can it? It has to be, you have to feed it in season and out of season. Whether it's the season for milk or it's not season, as in we would have said, we are only feeding the cows that have calves. That's what we should have said. But we feed it when it is young, when we give it water, we take it out, we treat it, we do everything, but we have an expected end. That a time is going to come, and this cow is going to give me 40 liters of milk every single day, and I'm going to make money out of it. But guess what? This 40 liters of milk, it's very possible that it's not even going to pay for all the expenses that you've been feeding this cow with ever since it was young. But it's just a beautiful experience. So if you say, I will only feed those that give me milk, you're never going to have any cow that gives you milk, because then you will never feed them from when they are young to growth. So commitment means that you commit in the wildest of the places, or in the worst of the places. What are you committing to? Committing to growth, committing to success, committing to better health, committing to bringing up better children, committing to having a better marriage, committing to make your marriage healthy, and or making a decision that actually serves you better. Okay? So I really wanted us to understand and to get this, because we usually say, I am committed to this, but we never go to the roots of understanding. If you're committed to your business, whether it's raining, you will walk to your business under the rain. I am the kind, even right now. I don't, if I'm supposed to do something, I will do it. If I'm supposed to get drenched and, rained on, I will be rained on. But I will go ahead and do what I am supposed to do, because that is what commitment calls for. So commit to your growth, and growth is intentional. Growth is not something that just happens to us. Just like you said, you're envisioning yourself in Bahamas, to having that soft life. Commit to doing the things that can be able to sustain that life. Not that you will get a soft life and all of a sudden come back to hustle mode and then switch back to soft life. And then you're a failure. You have failed. You have failed. As in, you should be able to have set the foundation. Take time and don't rush. Don't say, you know what, someone set a time limit for me that if you hit 35, some of us by 35 we had just started. But again, we were never late. We are where we are by the grace of God, and we continue to rise. Okay? And let me tell you, Mama Christine should tell you, 50 is the new 30. New 30. The energy she has at 50 plus years. She celebrated 52. As in, the energy, I mean, when you say there's a school outreach, but where is the t-shirt? I'm putting on the t-shirt. You've never seen sneakers, pants. You know, she's leading the way. She's having the time of her life. She's living the time of her life. She's having fun. Have you been to her social media? Eh? Have you seen the lovey-dovey that she has with her husband, holding waists and Usmani holding cheeks and what? At lake shores somewhere. They're having fun. So if you're here and you're 30 and you're already like, oh, time has gone. I don't know if my dreams will ever come true. I don't know. Commit to the dreams that you have, and those dreams are going to pay off. Okay? Commit to the dreams that you have, and those dreams are going to pay off. And we don't commit to things that other people are throwing to us. We commit to things that we have designed. I want you to get me well. We commit to things that we have designed. You design your life or you drift. There are two things. Now, if you drifting, it's like a raft. Have you ever seen a raft? Or a boat that is on the lake that has no sense of direction, or the wind is too much that you cannot even use, you cannot give it direction. So what you're being told is, leave it to drift on the waters, let the waves take you wherever they take you, and once the waves are down, then you can row back to whichever direction you want. Because the moment you start fighting with the waves, you are going to capsize. So now that is drifting. Some of us are on the drifting trend. We gave up control. We are just on the lake, to whoever it may concern, whichever direction comes. Okay, so when someone says business is the thing, you run there. When someone says coaching is the thing, you run there. Well, so that is why we have the mentorship, where we find our true purpose. And by the way, we have so many people in the mentorship, and their core calling is not to be coaches. Their core calling is they are millionaires and business people. And they're going to set up mega businesses. And some of them have already set up mega businesses. But they are not drifting. Some of us are drifting by choice. Okay? Life is taken, and you can never arrive at an expected end when you're drifting. It's like you're saying, let me drive around, and you don't have any sense of direction. Now, when you design your life, and by design, I'm into real estate, and I've gotten firsthand what it means to design everything from scratch. Like where you want which corner to be where, what kind of kitchen you want. Not because someone came and they thought they could do a kitchen, so they should come and fix a kitchen. No. I decide where the cooker has to be, where the sinks have to be. I decide where the hood has to be. I decide where the fridge, which side, how does it open. I decide what kind of cabinets, what kind of lamination, as you decide, you design from scratch. And when you see your handiwork and your craftsmanship and your creativity, you stay with satisfaction that I made this. I didn't just go and buy a blueprint from somewhere. I didn't just go and tell some architect, draw this. No. Even for all the tenants' houses and all the Airbnbs, and even when someone comes and does what they want, we tell them, break that wall. We did not want that wall. Now, it looks so beautiful. I love it. When I go to the sites and you arrive somewhere and the engineer is just telling you, we could not position this, and my husband go to a place and knew that, you know what, the woman owns the houses. So she decides where everything goes. So all the engineers, we've been waiting for you to decide where this goes and where this goes. I'll be like, I'll make time in the evening and come. And I will go. And when the finished work comes out, you look at it with a lot of pride, and you're like, whoever is going to stay in this place is going to be blessed. Even if it's someone who will spend a night in my Airbnb, is one who will go away and say, I will never rent out, I will never go to a hotel again. I am better off having a Airbnb, or go spend my Christmas with my family in this Airbnb, and I am sorted. I am good. Okay? Because I put the emotional touch. What I would have wanted to experience somewhere, what I have never experienced in Uganda, is the experience I want to give to someone. So now I was explaining designing. That you get a pen and paper and say, you know what, God designed my life this way. Now, he expects me, because he calls me a God, together with him, that we can co-create this life together. And say that, okay, what are my dreams? What are my goals? What kind of life do I want to live? Do I want to live a life that is half-half? Do I want to maximize this life? Do I want to dream big? Do I want to, for example, do I want to set time aside every Friday and show up for Hold My Hand, because it's going to add an inch every day towards my growth? There are so many people that have decided to go by what others are doing. When your husband tells you, and by the way, some ladies, by the way, it's not even your husband or your boyfriend, but you limit yourself so that you can please someone. You're like, I will not go to this place. What if he calls me and he wants to see me? What if he calls me and he wants to see me? When he calls me and he wants to see me, I will tell him, find me at Thobani. Or come and pick me up at Thobani. Let me tell you, people respect people that have set an agenda for their lives. People love people that have a set agenda for their lives. You're not just waiting, because when someone asks that, okay, what do you want to eat? My friend, I am straightforward. You ask me what I want to eat, today I will tell you Chinese. The next day I will tell you seafood. The next day I will tell you, as in, I know what I want. So if you think your pocket can accommodate it, let's go. You do not ask me what I want to eat if you're not going to accommodate. But back then, by the way, I had an issue. Tim would ask me what you want to eat, or which hotel you want to go to, or restaurant you want to go to, and say, wherever you feel like going to. And I was like, wait a minute, I have a decision in this. So sometimes I think he gets excited just to see my sense of satisfaction when I arrive at a place that I want, or when I get something that I want. So I'm like, let's go. I know what I want. And so if you're asking, you're giving me a blank check to fill in what I want. So what do you want? What do you want for yourself? We limit ourselves so much. I know of someone who has just gotten married, and in my head, I know for sure, I know someone toxic when I see one. And I sense that the husband has a bit of toxicity. I have never told this person. And this person can never know themselves, because I have never had this conversation with them. Because sometimes you don't have to get into people's businesses. Now, when I understood that, I was like, I wish this lady can wake up and set an agenda for herself. Because if she does not set one, then it is going to be dictated. And guess what? She cannot go to see her parents. She cannot go to see her parents. She can't go to church. She can't go for any gatherings. Every time she has to be at home, and she has people that are monitoring her, including boda people that are monitoring her, and her husband is not even in the country. And guess what? We are the ones that set precedents for the things that happen in our lives. If you want to set a different standard, you start now, even with a boyfriend, because there is nothing new you're going to do under the sun that will cause that boyfriend to somersault and love you until heaven comes down. He either loves you or loves you. Okay? So, right now, you start by telling them that, you know what, I work starting 7 until 5. This is my work time. And in my workplace, my bosses don't entertain phone calls. But this business of you're running to the toilet, now you're in between. The boss is seeing me, but if I don't pick my boyfriend, he's going to say I'm cheating. If your boyfriend thinks you're cheating by going to work, then you might as well leave work. Why are you disturbing us? Sorry? I know, decide what you want. Don't waste our time. So if you choose to set, just like they say, when you start eating thorns, you're the one who knows how you will turn them into in your mouth. So you don't have to come and say, Brenda, you're eating thorns, be careful, you will hurt yourself. She gave herself the job of eating the thorns. Let her decide whether she wants them to take them west or east or however. Whether she cries, whether she bleeds, it's her business. Sometimes the only way I can poke my nose in that business is either terminating you, or number two, distancing myself from you, because the next thing is I'll be the one that is called bad for influencing you to grow. Because some people never want to have people grow. I've told you there are some husbands that have told me I'm spoiling their wives. That their wives now can speak up. Their wives used not to speak up. So ever since you started, I've seen you with that woman on Zoom, I have seen you with that woman. And in my heart I'm like, yes! Why? Because that man is going to gain. Whenever you have a woman that grows, as a man you grow. Whenever you have a woman that is committed to growth, your children flourish. They grow. And you know how everyone looks up to you and is like, you know what, I want my children to be, I want my family to be like that. Even other husbands will bring their wives to your wife to tell them, show them. Because now, Mama, there is one who told the wife, ever since she started going to Bahati, she now puts on lipstick. So in my heart I was like, now what's wrong with lipstick? What's wrong? So she's like, the other time she used not to comment, but now she's saying, I look like a doll, I look like a what? Every time the husband is telling her that she looks like a doll. And so I asked her, I asked a very simple question. I was like, are you comfortable with it? And she's like, it has always been my dream. I'm very comfortable with it. I'm like, okay, so you have to get used. But eventually when the growth is manifesting, your husband is going to join your corner. And guess what? I have seen husbands that have gone ahead to sell their wives and even promote their wives, and at first they refuse them to come to Bahati. Said, when she goes to Bahati, Jakulabuka. And then, after she has the confidence and she starts speaking, online, and she starts doing these things, now the husband starts promoting. While she doesn't know, when he goes to a place, he's like, by the way, my wife is a public speaker. By the way, my wife knows how to do this. By the way, my wife knows how to do this. I think this is her number. You should contact her for your event. And so this wife was like, I thought she didn't want this. And so I told her, commit to your growth. Low key. Okay? You don't have to go announcing, hey, look here, I am growing. No. Commit to your growth. Growth is evident. It does not hide. What you say is going to change. Your battles, you will choose your battles wisely. The other day you were fighting about everything. So this day, he says, this person is being so picky about their battles. So that one will work itself out. It's like, you even learn to forgive. Like, because commitment demands that you are light. You're not heavy laden by everything that is coming. You don't hold grudges. Otherwise, there is no commitment with grudges. For as long as you're holding on to grudges, you're not growing. So when this person starts seeing these nice things about you, then they're like, there is something good. But even when they cross to the good side, they never come and tell you, I'm so glad you grew. I'm so glad. They will never come. But they will start speaking about it everywhere, and you will get to hear it from everywhere, how he's proud of you. And the same applies to the gentleman. Okay? Let me tell you, when you grow, your family is the number one benefactor of your growth. Because it has ripple effects. Okay? how you're going to bring up your children, the schools they're going to go to, like everything is going to be intentional. The time that you're going to create for them, how you're going to speak to them is going to be so intentional. How you nurture their confidence is going to be so intentional. So everyone in your household gains from this. So if one thinks that you're taking a wrong journey, then that means tell them, wait, I will prove you wrong. And then go back, commit to your growth. And your growth will speak for itself. I need us to get into the questions. Where are we stuck?
You've talked so much about commitment, but amidst what you've shared, I also had a question. My main question is, what really pushes your commitment? Apart from the vision you've talked about, apart from the passion you've talked about, also despite the designs that you've basically made into your mind to have something reach up to you all, sometimes you commit, even put down what you really want to go up to, but sometimes there is how the commitment fails out for you to achieve maybe what you want. And my next question is, what holds commitment persistent in a person's mind? Okay. Thank you so much.
These questions are the same, in a way. Okay? I said, when we come for Hold My Hand, I don't want us to go with 10 things, how to change your life. And those things are not applicable. When we talk about commitment, I want you to be able to think about commitment even for the whole of next week and ask yourself, what am I committing to? Because whatever you're committing to, you are endorsing and you are saying a yes. Okay? So you should be able to say enough no's in order to say important yeses in your life. So the sense of choice and decision making has to be spot on. Definitely it grows over time. But what has kept me committed to my goal, number one, is the continuous evolution, okay? Me accepting that it's not how I dreamt it, is not how it's going to be fulfilled. It has seasons. That it's going to be, let me say, what will I say? It's going to be a caterpillar that is going to be cocooned, that is going to turn it into a butterfly. Now, the end in mind for me, I sat down, and let me tell you, everything I have ever envisioned in myself is a possibility. I have never dreamt of impossibility. I have never. And so I kept asking myself, even with all the bad that I went through, I should have been the one that thinks, maybe money is going to run out. Oh, I should have been living in perpetual fear. And when you're an investor, and if you're doing the kinds of jobs and the things that I do, you can wake up a day without even a coin. Why? Because you are in the perpetual state of investing. You get it from this hand, you put it away from this hand. So you become a medium of some sorts because you are building assets and you are building a future. So, even when I wake up and I have no shilling, and someone comes and is like, I need 1,000,000 shilling, I will tell them, I'm going to just give me 2 or 3 minutes or 10 minutes. I will get it for you. You get it? As in, to me, there is a world of possibility in my, and that is the positivity that we need to look at the world with. The attitude that must change, and the attitude should not be dictated by your circumstances. Your attitude should be decided upon by you, sober, and say, you know what? I am choosing a positive outlook in this area. And I'm going to make it. So for me, I saw a butterfly, even in a caterpillar state. I saw myself, and I used to tell people, I remember one time at church, and I think I've said this to the mentorship guys. I was at church, and I was preaching in the first service, and I was telling them, I was in secondary. So I was telling them, one time, you're going to read about me. Magazines, in articles, I'm going to be an author, and I'm going to fly to nations, taking hope and transforming people. And like I said things, and I think to this day, those people looked at me and they were like, wow. Because they all knew where I was coming from. Because I am coming from a home where there is no food to literally come and just say, you know what, squeeze me somewhere. I want to say something, okay? I used to avail myself, even when I didn't have anything to speak. I used to avail myself. So I mentioned those things one after one, and there were like 8 things in line. And each of those things, before 5 years, not 5 years, before I would say between 8 to 10 years elapsed, I had achieved each one of the things that I mentioned. When I didn't have a job, I didn't have food, and my family didn't have a home, I was speaking from nothingness. But I was saying, I am going to be in articles, you're going to watch me on TV, so people kept reminding me. There is a certain lady at church, she kept reminding me. She was like, so recently she was like, did you know that you'll be on TV? I was like, but who did I even know? I didn't have a TV at home. By the time I preached and said, you will see me on TV, I had never watched a TV in my home. I watched TV at campus and in someone's hostel. The first TV for me to watch was at campus and at a failed endeavor. Because I have this thing of positivity, so I'm thinking I finished senior 6, the only best thing is to apply for campus. So you apply. When others are going to start, they're not saying start with a bank slip. I'm like, I will appear, even when I have not paid. So I went for a full semester, and I didn't do exams because I didn't have money. But my first TV, I watched it in someone's hostel, when people see you're brilliant, you're discussing things and what, so they invite you to their hostel and you're seeing a TV. And you're like, wow, this is soft life. So while I was telling people, you're going to watch me on TV, I didn't have. I had never even owned a TV. I had people talk about Sunset Beach. And what else? Those were things at school. But let me tell you, the other thing I will tell you is contentment. I had a sense of contentment that was unshakable. Like you could not shake it. I could have been one of those girls, because I told you, there are men who came wanting to marry me. They will enter from the front door, I will disappear from the behind door. And then my mother would tell me, they bought things from the supermarket. And those days supermarkets were few. They bought things from the supermarket. Now they've come to see you. I was like, those are your visitors. I had sworn to her I would never get married. And I didn't want to get married. So I had this contentment that not even, like a man, you stand before me, you tell me, but you're going to buy me what? Like even when I didn't have tuition, you could not stand in my presence and tell me, I'm going to give you tuition, so become my girlfriend. Like that was an automatic cancellation. I would rather go and sleep in my mother's house than go and get married somewhere or be in a relationship because I want tuition. I had a sense of contentment. That is a rare thing in this generation. We want quick things, we want fast things. We want to run away from pain, we want to run away from emotions. But when the emotions came, I sat in them. I felt their heaviness. I felt their weight. So right now when I look at someone in the eye and tell them that you will make it out of this nothing, you will become something, I say it with a lot of authority because I know what it means. So for me, the contentment makes you overlook everything that is happening now, and you look towards the expected end that you don't even have a clear picture. But at some point, I told you, I was in Kabanda, on a stall that sells tomatoes. I think I told you about that story. That sells tomatoes with onions. I was even smelling onions because, I'm helping my mother sell tomatoes and onions. And I was dreaming of one day having a dishwasher. How crazy is that? How crazy? I didn't know a dishwasher existed, by the way. I didn't even know that a washing machine existed. But the positive me was saying, you know what? There is a life that is coming. One day I am going to build a house on a mountain. I am going to have a dishwasher. Like for me it was a huge thing because I didn't want to wash utensils. When I was dreaming of that, I didn't know that those things would happen. So, me envisioning the expected end and working towards it and saying I am not taking my vision off that goal. I am not taking it off. Until I am that. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that until he makes Jerusalem praise. Now, when you took praise is something that is praiseworthy, that is so good. Okay? Until I get to that, I am not giving up. My eyes are not darting around to whoever is doing everything that is short-lived. No, that is not going to take my mind. What's going to take my mind is, how do I persevere? How do I break through? Because some of us pray for breakthroughs, but we want soft throughs. We are busy. Oh, I need a breakthrough. I need a breakthrough. Let me tell you, a breakthrough is breaking through the wall. A breakthrough is when enough is enough, and I cannot take this anymore. And if there is no door, I am breaking through the wall. But some of us are praying, and our hands are like this. I'm praying for a breakthrough. But you are busy. You are busy in your softness. And then you're waiting for your breakthrough to come from someone who is rich, so that you can say, God gave me a breakthrough by bringing a rich person. My friend, the Satan brought a breakdown. The devil read your mind, brought a breakdown. Because he knew that at the speed at which you're moving, lest you make it in life. So in order to deter you from your goal, he's going to bring the sugar daddy. He's going to bring the one that is going to create complacency in your life. So before you know it, you are living a complacent life. You who is to wake up very early in the morning because there is someone picking you in a car, you think you have arrived. My friend, you have not arrived because you have not even started. So can we start before we even start saying anything? Yeah, because it's raining, let me do this. Let me tell you. The soft life, that one we are going to get to. We are going to live it. But the soft life that has no foundation is a death trap. Because you're going to build resentment, and then you're going to become a con man. Because you want to maintain a soft life. But once you put in the work right now, you are everywhere. You are printing brochures. You are promoting your business. You are dreaming again, even when things do not work. You are persistent. You are consistent. And you are committed. You're saying, no one is going to talk me out of this. No one. So you become big-headed like Hilda. Tim says, when someone tells him something that, they go to him first, because he's too understanding. So they go to him first, and then they tell him, this is what we wanted, to tell her. You want to tell that to Hilda? And then he laughs, and he's like, good luck. It's like, by the time you say good luck, it's not going to go through. No, you try. But the one I know, when she puts her mind to something, it's not going to be changed. And but try, okay? But the thing is, I have learned to be black and white. I do not want any blurriness in my lines. It's either a yes or a no. I'm not in the middle. Okay? So commitment determines if you are saying a no. Commitment goes with boundaries. If you're saying a no, it should be a bold no. If you're saying a yes, it should be a yes, and a yes all the way. A yes that is backed up with actions, a yes that is backed up with availability, a yes that is backed up with unstoppability, a yes that is backed up by everything is figure-outable. There is nothing I cannot figure out. You throw me on an island, I will find my way out. If I have to swim through the rivers, I will swim through the rivers. But some of us have this quick mentality of giving up. Every time bad thing or hard thing shows up, we have a way of giving up. So contentment, to answer your question, is very paramount. And then having an end in mind and working towards that end. I told you, if you put a ball here and we have no destination, I cannot bother playing that ball or kicking that ball. But show me that that's the goalpost. My friend, I will pull my skirts up. I will make sure that whether you're a man, there is no difference between man and woman. We are both going to kick that ball, and it is going to go through that goalpost. Okay? So set goals for yourself, and then run towards them with commitment. You see the runners that run Olympics? You know that it takes commitment even for the practice itself to happen. Now, this final show-off alone also comes with a lot of problems. But it takes commitment. How many Olympians have left Uganda without shoes? They have no shoes. No one is sponsoring them. The government says we don't have money to buy shoes. They are flagged off with a lot, I will not say shame. But by the time you flag off someone and say, you know what, we are heading out, we are going to whichever country to participate in Olympics, and they don't have shoes. Some of them were running in shoes that were not even fitting. That is commitment. Some of them say that even if I get to Japan and I have to run bare feet, I will run on the track. I will break world history. I will bring back a medal. Whether it's silver or bronze or gold, I will bring back a medal. That is commitment. But if you say, I don't have shoes and the government is not giving me shoes, you might as well not wake up to practice. Don't waste our time. Go and keep cows. So don't start something that you're not willing to commit to. Don't. I've widened it for you, and I hope that can help. That has been a major thing for me. It's something that I have learned over time because I used to be so rigid. By the way, I used to be the kind, you do something wrong, you're in my black book, and you will never get out of my black book. That was me. I would not quarrel with you, and I'm not that kind. You just get into my wrong books, you stay in my wrong books. And I would not include you, I would not entertain you, I would not, I would even just, mind my own business, totally. But exchanging words, that one, God has not given it to me. I am very calculative with my words. If they are not building, if they are not transforming, I do not utter them. I don't waste my time. But the flexibility of knowing that I'm not going to get everything the way I want it, but for as long as I am still on this growth journey, for as long as it has signs of growth to it, I am going to be flexible to accept it, or to say, I'm not going to compromise my standards. No, I'm not going to compromise my standards. But again, I'm not going to be so rigid that if it does not happen the way it is. Do you know perfectionists? And all my engineers, when they work at different sites, I tell them that, you know what, whenever I get into a room, the only thing I see is things that have not aligned. How many are like me? Let me tell you. I sleep in a bedroom that has a wall that they constructed like this instead of like this. That is the only thing I am seeing in that room. The only thing. So I tell, if I'm paying top dollar to get a good thing and to employ a good engineer, I want straight things. My friend, I even take rulers and measure. Now, have you seen people that put even the sockets, and someone puts them like this, and you're like, how tilted is your head? How? So with those ones, God has not yet given me the grace. No, that grace is not sufficient in that area. I am still a perfectionist. How I want it is how I want it. If I paid for a straight thing, I want a straight thing. If we have to break it, you do it again, you're going to break it and do it again. But when it comes to humans and relationships, I've learned that things are not going to go 100% the way I expect them to be. So, one person will let me down, but it does not make them a bad person. Okay? The character trait of letting me down is bad, but the person is redeemable, and a lot can change about them. We are all designed for different journeys, but journeys that are beautiful, and you cannot miss out on your journey. So until next time, from me to you is a bye-bye. I love you, and God bless you.
Thank you for watching. Bahati comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 p.m. here on Spirit TV. Bahati, bringing you knowledge, wisdom, financial and personal growth, better relationships leading to your transformation and elevation.
Spirit TV, a place for you.